So the headlines are all the same. Nursing salaries are no longer what they used to be. There's a reason for that. The pandemic is over. We used to get paid $10,000 a week, and now it's a paltry $2,200 to $3,300 a week, depending on what part of the country you're in. So the question is, can you, travel nurse, still wait it out until you find a high-paying contract, or should you go back to staff? Those are great questions. Welcome back to Stronger Nurse Universe. If you're someone who's already sold on travel nursing as a career, it's a great choice, actually, and a path where if you do it properly, you can thrive. And that's what I'm here to teach you how to do. You have to be careful not to get caught in one of the most common pitfalls in this journey. The trap of waiting for better contract rates. Because guess what? Every day you don't work is every day you losing money. You still got to eat. You still got to pay for gas. You still got to pay for your dwelling. You still got to duplicate expenses. So let's make this make sense, okay? From a financial perspective, everybody was used to making that pandemic money. Them days is over. Now we back to what they call market rate adjustments, where things are normalizing in the market. Somebody texted me that she was having trouble finding new work opportunities in Northern California. The Bay is like the highest paying area in the world, right? But me, I ain't had no problems. I've been able to stay employed as a travel nurse here in the Bay. My colleague, on the other hand, well, she is well qualified as a step-down ICU nurse with over 5 years of experience. So I don't believe that her experience was the problem. She had also been a travel nurse for about 2 years, but of course, this was during the pandemic. See, she was used to making that guap. She was carrying a big ass bag, and of course, hospitals that went bankrupt. You know, healthcare systems was like, hold on, we can't afford to do this. So market rates have adjusted. She takes great care of her patients and knows how to handle chaotic situations. Currently, though, her major challenge is that she had become accustomed to pandemic pay. But, you know, I'm sure she's not alone in this. How many people out there, by showing comments, are struggling right now because they're not making that pandemic money and they created an unsustainable lifestyle based off $10K a week? I'm watching people having to work 2 jobs. I just met a lady the other day. She's got a full-time staff job working 3 days a week, and then she's got a travel nurse job working another 3 days a week on nights. In case you are unaware, every travel nurse agency has drastically cut their 36-hour weekly rates. In this present economy, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who's paying $55 to $70 an hour. Average rates right now are about $28 to about $35. What's more common, especially in the San Francisco Bay Area, is that $28 to $35 an hour taxable wage on jobs that are about 36 hours a week. And your stipend maxed out, depending on the hospital though, because this is important. Some of them, the unions prevent the agencies from maxing out the stipend. Trust me, I know. It's fucking insulting that this is happening despite patients are getting sicker than they were pre-pandemic, and then people got long COVID symptoms. And our job has an even tighter chokehold on even the best of us. Man, I'm strong. I am Stronger Nurse. I mean, come on, man. But even I'm tired. That during the pandemic, we was worth $10,000 a week, and now we can't even get $3,300 a week. Sadly, though, the consensus in the travel nurse industry is that the market does not support higher rates for nursing care due to the fact that the government stopped paying the hospitals the money from FEMA. So a lot of hospital systems went bankrupt. They can't support the pay anymore, even though we deserve it. So I regret to announce to you that the nursing shortage will continue. It's only going to get worse. I don't know who's going to take care of these people. I really don't. And you know, people ain't patient. We have some of the most impatient patients. They had a nurse to get angry at me because I don't answer your call light in 2 minutes. Let me tell you something, and this go out to everybody. you're going to have to do one or two things. You either going to have to take better care of yourself and literally not come into the hospital and be a patient, or your family going to have to step up and help take care of you. Or actually, number three, you're going to have to pay a private duty person to come in there and take care of you, because I can't do it all, and I'm not. You're not going to drive me crazy because you didn't take care of yourself. Let me just tell you, I'm not working no extra shifts. I look at that stuff and I'm like, hold on, $300 for 12 hours? I can go work at Chic-fil-A. This is bullshit. Because of how overtime laws work in California, though, these shifts are typically broken down into 4, 8, or 12 hours because people don't want to pay overtime. So, since San Francisco has an outrageous cost of living, I mean the highest in the nation, and the state taxes roughly 40% of workers' taxable wages. Trust me on this, I did the math. I have a financial coach that I have been working on a budget with, and I did the math. I was like, okay, if I go staff out here, staff is paying like $99 an hour from my experience, versus me being a travel nurse making like, $35 an hour taxable. I still make more money as a travel nurse than I would a staff. My friend, after considering my suggestion to go per diem, she was clearly unsatisfied with that, talking about, well, that's preposterous. I'd much rather stay home. That was her response. And honestly, I don't blame her. I'd rather stay home too, but who gonna pay these bills? I mean, let's be honest. How am I gonna eat? How am I gonna pay gas? How am I gonna live my best life? And that's why I like to call it the travel nurse trap. Don't make the mistakes that I made. Don't make the mistakes that she's making. You need to get to work now, okay? Let me break it down for you. Here's what happens each day that you hold up at home, binge watching Netflix, scrolling through Instagram, and repeatedly checking your fridge. You lose money. You're not collecting nobody's bag, sitting at home doing nothing. You can't let your ego and your pride get in the way of collecting your bag, right? What you fail to realize is that you'll soon exhaust your savings. I know how long it took for me to save the amount of money that I got, and I'll be damned if I get up into my feelings and say that I'm not going to work because I don't feel like you paying me enough. No, I need my money, okay? Because I'm working on something else in the background that one day I won't have to do this ever again. That's the mindset you got to have. You lose approximately $471.43 every single day you don't work, okay? There are two mindset traps that most travel nurses develop. I can tell you, I've been doing this for a while. The first is the extra shift mentality. And I have a whole video just on that. The extra shift mentality is a need to work more hours just to make enough to purchase liabilities. The second is the idea that you can always earn more money. And this is literally the mindset that I've always had. I can always pick up an extra shift. I can always work an extra shift. I will always earn more money. But I promise you, this is not true because it happened to me. My ass burnt out and I could not earn any money, but I continued to keep spending money and then I just went broke. Both ideologies will leave you in a vicious cycle of work, burnout, expensive rest and relaxation, exhausted savings, and then right back to step one, going back to work, hating what you fucking do. What I do recommend is that you supplement your income between contracts with a per diem or PRN position, whether that be in your home state. There's all kinds of companies that offer per diems, and I will provide that list in my appendix. Trust me, the benefits are worth it. You can work whenever you want, as much as you want. You get paid daily or weekly. Just working per diem. No commitments. You need to find a job placement and plan that into your life as a travel nurse. So how does any travel nurse go about finding a decent paying job, especially right now in today's environment, post-pandemic, where hospitals are cutting contracts and cutting pay and, agencies are like capping pay? Well, first you need to consider the current rates in your area of expertise. I highly recommend that most people have multiple specialties, so they can float around different areas based off of what is paying. So Vivian, which I am signed up with, is a healthcare job board that gives you a solid estimates of rates nationwide for various roles, whether it's staff, whether it's per diem, or whether it's travel. Here we can see their per diem rates. This information can give you a good overview of what salary ranges are and what to expect from agencies while on your search. Nurse Finders is an American mobile nursing agency that several people use. I'm signed up with Nurse Finders as well. However, because they are publicly traded on the stock market and been a company since like 1985 or something, I do think that they take a lot more of your money because their overhead cost is so much higher. So I suggest that you do your due diligence and check websites like glassdoor.com or Facebook groups, because there's like a ton of them for travel nursing, for reviews before you exchange your information with the company and talk to a recruiter. But personally, I have never and would never use this agency. I've made it a habit to talk to people and listen to them about their experiences with their agency as far as payroll, recruiters, contracts, any issues they may have, to really get a good assessment of what kind of company they are to their travel nurses. I've heard a lot of horror stories and learned many lessons from these experiences of travel nurses who work for some of these companies. That's why I wrote the Stronger Travel Nurse ebook. It's essentially a how-to guide on travel nursing, and you can find this on strongernurse.com, or you can just go to Stronger Nurse Network and actually take the course and be a part of the travel nurse community there. The resources will provide you with all the tools that you need to make informed decisions based off of, well, experience and facts. Another well-known agency that I like to use for per diem shifts, especially when I'm out here in California, is called Medical. They have random shifts daily, and when I say random, it can be like 2 o'clock in the morning and they'll have a shift. So if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you sleep, you see a shift somewhere close, and it's paying like $1,000, first come, first serve. That's why I would always advocate that while you pursue your nursing career, you must got plans. How can you start or acquire a business? How can you build a brand or even secure government contracts? Turn on post notifications and stay tuned for forthcoming videos. Remember, the goal is to exit strong, like a stronger nurse. Stronger Nurse Universe, this is your girl, Stronger Nurse, signing out. I'll see y'all next time.